Hello everyone, it is Rob the Replicator here today. How are you all? It is a beautiful sunny morning here on a Tuesday in Australia. Birds are chirping. Everything is good in the world. How are we? How are we? I have today How to Crowdfund Comics Part 2. So this is really rough at the moment. I probably won't refine it as much as I did the other one and get an editor or all that. This is just me continuing on with how I like to think about things. I'll add it to the document whenever I see a good idea or hear a good idea. I'll put it in here. It's trying to make those little steps for to make it easier success for everyone involved. So let's get into it, and let's have a read what's been happening on this side of the How to Crowdfund comics. So bonuses for referrals. This is a new-ish idea. I mean, it's been around. There's been a few campaigns that have done it recently. I'm not sure where I sit on the topic as of yet. But if you don't know, you're able to track how many referrals someone gets, your campaign. So how many sales you get based on someone putting a link out there and then people clicking that link and then buying something. I think it's a good idea, like to reward those people. I'm just not sure how you would implement it to make it work though. Like, I guess the two points are, what would that person get? Like, what kind of reward are they getting? Like, is it going to be, is it going to be the book? Is it going to be a poster? Is it going to be like some original art? Like, I don't know what the best option there is. And the second part, which I think is actually more important, is I don't think it should be like a winner takes all sort of situation, because it's not all even. You'll have mods, for example, on Ethan's channel who'll put in links to your campaign, and because they're a mod there, they'll get more referrals. It's just the way it is. Ethan has heaps of viewers. They buy comic books. That's how it is. So I think, like maybe it should be like a 5 to 10 referral type thing, that if you get 5 or 10, then you get a certain something. And then if you want to, you can also have a winner, because that way, people are getting rewarded for their effort and helping you make more sales. And I think that they should, but like I said, I just don't know how I would implement it yet. It's still in my mind. It's still in the early thought stage of how to do it. Will it be something I'll do? I'll look into it. I don't know if I'll implement it. I'd like to. I just don't know if it would work right now. So that's just the first one. Okay, so not exactly 100% sure on that one. Let me know if you do have thoughts on it. If you're a mod and you're linking and you do referrals, Mortal V is a great example. Eric Huffles is a great example. They link your stuff all the time, right? So do they want some sort of reward for that? I feel like they should get something, yeah, for sure. But yeah, let me know what you think of that one in the comments below. That would be awesome. So themes. Themes and brand recognition. So brand recognition is really important. So logo design is a huge deal. I've talked about this a few times on my original Replicator one. I hated the logo on that. I loved it at the start, and then I've grown to hate it. Now we have a really clean logo, and it probably doesn't sell it as much as it should. Like it's not as distinctive as a Graveyard Shift or a Cyber Frog or a Starlight Cats or any of those types of books. So getting that logo decided right is huge, because you're going to be putting it everywhere. Everywhere should have it on it when they see it. Artwork should have the logo on, even if it's just down in the corner somewhere. Just let people know it's that thing, because people need to be reminded of something before they buy something. Like, I think it's like 7 times. They see something 7 times before they act. Yeah, so that's a big deal. And also, a name is a big deal too. Like, I may have issues with my logo. I think maybe it could be improved, and maybe I'll look into doing something with the logo, maybe modifying the existing logo to give it more of that pandemic, post-apocalyptic feel, but trying to retain that cleanliness that I really like. So that is something that I might do. But also the name is really important, like Replicator. That's really, like, that's easy to remember. Then you have like Cyber Frog, you have Graveyard Shift, you have Battle Brick Road, right? You don't want to have some obscure name that no one can remember, a name that's hard to spell, a name that's really long. My mum was telling me she had a book and it was something ridiculous, like the book on the shelf under the window, some crap like that. I'm just like, that is just crazy. But here I am talking about it like 6 months later when she told me. So maybe it does work. But yeah, this is also a big deal, and it actually shits me. It really does. You got to remember, you are your brand. So whenever you're speaking to someone, you're on a stream, if you have smears on your camera's shit, your mic's shit, your setup is terrible, it makes people less likely to buy from you. You so, I mean, I don't want to harp on about this too much, um, but you don't have to spend the world, but get a decent mic, get a decent camera, and it should be easier for you to sell your book. People are going to want to listen to you. It's just how it is. So these are all from Mr. Canetti. So thank you, Eric. So theme. This is where it gets onto the themes. So he's using mine as example. Is your book about a pandemic? Release bottles of hand sanitizer with your book's a logo on it, QR code printed on it so it leads back to the campaign. Have flyers for missing kids since the pandemic started. So these are all cool ideas, probably not feasible with the hand sanitizer, but the thoughts there, right? Make it like the person is in a post-apocalyptic world, like they're going through the stuff that people will be going through. So, missing kids, have you seen this person? Maybe conspiracy theories, that kind of thing. And then, like, if you're doing, a space book, you might want to do stuff where people get like a boarding pass, like to get onto the ship, like with their rank and that kind of stuff. So if it's superheroes, you might want to do something that ties into that world, and I can't think of any good ideas off the top of my head. But you get what I'm saying, have it tie into the world that you're creating, so people feel like they're there. This is important to have someone design your book from cover to back cover, including the inside, front, and back covers. Readers should get the feeling the book has been put together professionally. Yeah, that's a big one. Again, Replicator 1, I've shown video of it before. The inside covers were not great. They were white with text on them. And now they look professional. They're black. They look professionally laid out. I paid the letterist to do that, and it's night and day, and it's just a much better experience. Okay, lettering and editing. This is something that shouldn't be a topic, really. Like, oh my god, you need to get an editor. I think there's like a negative opinion of that word based on what an editor used to do for the big companies, and that was like an art editor who would control the art and what was affected that way. But it doesn't apply to this. It's what we do. It's more like a freelance consultant who comes in, and he'll make sure, or they will make sure, she will make sure that the story makes sense. You can understand it. And you might think, well, that's pretty, self-explanatory. But if you've been working on a book for 5 years, everything you write is going to make sense to you. It doesn't matter if it makes sense to you. It matters if it makes sense to someone who's reading it for the first time, right? Especially if you've got a plot that interlaces and interflows between, and all these different stories have to interconnect, right? So that's really important. Get someone who'll do that, and will make sure it makes sense, who will give you suggestions and edits and improvements on the book. It's a huge deal. And oh god, like obviously you need a proofreader. Usually the editor will be that person, but if you're not going to get an editor, it has to be proofread. That's just that's like, it's not even something that can be debated. It has to happen. All right, lettering. I'm gonna make this one really simple. You don't want lettering to be something that detracts from the book, that brings the reader out of the story, because there's spelling mistakes, it's lettered incorrectly, the spacing is off, all those sorts of things, right? So if the simplest solution, honestly, is just to hire Eric Weathers, because he's been doing it, he knows what he's doing, he's professional, he's done all the big books, he knows what he's doing, it's what he does, it's his job now. But if you're not going to do that, then the quality of what you put, of your letters, or whoever you hire to do letters, has to be at this, as close to the standard of what Eric is doing, because that's the benchmark. That is what people want to see in their books now. And there's no excuses. Like a letterer, I mean, it's not cheap to hire a letterer, but it's the cheapest part of making a comic book. So in my mind, there's no excuses, and I think it's one of the things that, I think I probably said this, it's one of the things that will rip people out of the story straight away. Building excitement. This is one that Shane Davis has mentioned, and we'll get into that in a sec. There's many different approaches, and gathering and harnessing excitement, it's not easy. The fact that you have an Indiegogo sign-up page that can be active for 6 months, right? So I think that's the sort of guideline that people think is the ideal, like a 6-month build-up and then launch. And I think Shane believes that that's probably not the right way. That you maybe, even if you did start it out 6 months, for example, you want to build it slowly and then promote hard at the 1 to 2 months out. And I think if that's what he's believed, I'm not 100% sure, but if that's what he's saying, then that makes sense to me, because it's such a long wait for 6 months, right? So yeah, I mean, basically all I'm saying here is maybe focus more on those 1 to 2 months before the campaign. I think John Malin is a really good example, right? He's had Project Thunder coming for 2 years now. No one knows what it is, but we're excited about it. But if he started releasing art 2 years out, I mean, regardless of how big his audience is, or how cool John is, or how good of an artist he is, it's going to be hard to keep that excitement for that long. But I'd expect with John, he's going to maybe release a little bit, because he usually keeps it pretty close to his chest prior to launch, and that's going to build the excitement right there. So yeah, I'm not 100% on this one either. This is just something that I think is an interesting point. So yeah, think about that one yourself, where you want. So this is another one. So give people what they want. This sounds dumb when you say it out loud, but if multiple people want something on your campaign, if you can, make it happen, right? So if you get multiple requests for posters, make posters. I did that on the Replicator 3 campaign. We had like 6 people say they want posters in like half an hour, so I made posters. And we sold 14 of them, so far. Yeah, so if you sell out of a sketch tier on day one, add more. People obviously want it. If there is only a certain amount of sketch tiers and you launch during the middle of the night, which happens all the time for us in Australia, and then we wake up and all the sketch tiers are gone and we didn't know the launch was happening, I'm going to be pissed off. Now, me personally, I wouldn't have bought a sketch tier, but you understand the point I'm making. It's supply and demand. Give the people what they want if you're able to. And, like, just try. I mean, you're not going to be able to do it all the time. So this is something that's really important. What are you doing to get people to your page, right? So this is what you're going to be doing. You can be doing YouTube. You're going to be doing Twitter. You're going to be doing your email list, right? Everyone does that. That's what everyone does. Everyone has that. Some people have bigger email lists. Some people have bigger YouTube channels, right? You should already be hopefully doing all those things. So what else are you going to do? Like, what other avenues are you going to go to? Are you going to find a subreddit, right, that is tailored to whatever you're looking for? Are you going to join various communities, various Facebook groups that are into whatever it is that you're trying to sell? That's all I'm saying. You've got to think outside of those those normal avenues. Okay, and then what is your plan for the campaign? This is what it feels like with most campaigns, right? So, some people will have plans around launch day. It appears some people do not. They just launch and, they might do a stream and that's it, right? We take launch day here mega seriously. We stream for like 14 hours, 12, 14 hours. We go around to as many channels as we can get on. And, launch day is a big deal because that's when you should be hitting it, 1,000,000,000%. But from there, what's the plan? What's the week-by-week plan? What are you doing this week to get people to your campaign? What are you going to do next week? What do you have lined up? What avenues are you going to tap into? What are you doing? There's no plan, it seems, right? Are you going to be releasing something new? All those things. What do you have updates that are planned? Do you have posts that are planned? You need to have a plan. That's as simple as I can say. All right, this one is big, and not everyone gets this. But promo hard at the start and at the end, and ease off in the middle. So at the start of a campaign, so launch day, day 2, day 3, maybe even up to a week. Who knows? I'm not giving specific timelines. But you want to ask people to back. You're like, we are live, back this. Please get a copy of this. Do your pitch, promo that thing, sell books, give them incentive to, make it exciting, promote it hard, right? But outside of that start and outside of that end time, people need to calm down. No one wants to be promoted to for 60 days straight, right? No one wants to be sold to every single day. Like, hey, this is my book, buy it. Yeah, awesome. This is why it's awesome. This is the pitch. Here's the link. Like every single day, it's too much, right? So I think the answer is, if you're doing a daily stream, just remind people that it's active. Tell them what the goal is for that day or for that stream. Like, it could be anything from, we are $50 away from hitting $1,000 or $10,000, or we need 4 more backers to hit 100 backers or 500 backers, or something along the lines of we need, $300 to break this record, which would make it our highest campaign ever. Yeah, and like I said, people don't want to be sold to for 60 days straight. It gets annoying. You want to hang out with people and just be a normal person. Interact with the chat. You don't want to have it when people see your name, they're like, oh God, he's going to be selling his book again. And dude, that happens. You'd be surprised. People DM me all the time about it. Like they just, they get sick of it. People understand that you're selling a book, right? But they don't want it all the time. I don't think I've harped on. I think I've harped on about that point enough now, right? You understand what I'm saying? Stretch goals. God, this is another one that really shits me. Add them in a couple of days or day after launch so you can assess where you are. Realistic goals. Oh my gosh, realistic goals. This shits me. If I see a campaign that's got, it's 3 weeks in, it has $600, and its first stretch goal is at 25 grand, and the next one's at 50. I won't actually back it. It just shits me. Like, it just seems that these people are out of touch with where their campaign is or what they thought their campaign was going to do. So have realistic stretch goals. Adjust them to make sure that the backers are getting reward. If it costs, X to do this, then it costs X to do this. And, that's what the stretch goal is. That's fine. But having unrealistic and lofty stretch goals is a huge turnoff. Sign up rewards. Okay, so this is my own opinion, and people will disagree. That's fine. I don't think a free print is a good enough sign up reward anymore, especially if you're expecting people to back on day one. I think you need to improve upon that. I'm not giving answers here. I did original art that was really successful. I think that's a solid option, but something that not everyone can do. But I think Leroy says this: half of the battle is getting people excited enough that they're going to want to back day one anyway, regardless of what the sign up reward is. But yeah, that's what I think. Free card or free print or trading card is. It's not enough by itself to make me want to back on day one. So there you go. But this wouldn't happen, right? But if Ethan had a raffle where anyone that backed on day one could win an original art piece, I'd be all over that. Like, I think that would be amazing. Ethan doesn't need to do that though. That's cool. But you get what I'm saying. Star perks. I've talked about this a little bit. This is something that Adam Lawson really pointed out to me, and it's something like a reward on the campaign that makes it just so exciting and interesting and unique. So there's a couple of really good examples. The Kill Journal, I think he's actually got 2 in there. He probably didn't think one of them was. But he has the face mask, right? So that's a talking point. That is something really cool that is different, and people can buy it if they want. But he also had the leather-bound journal, which I thought is a really smart and interesting choice on the campaign. The 8th had a slipcase for the hardcover. That's not groundbreaking, but it did end up making me back both of these campaigns. Honeycomb box, I bought that as well. So apparently I'm a sucker for all these things. But you can also have toys, you can have busts, you can have statues, you can have any sort of those sort of things that makes your campaign stand out from the rest. I think is a really good idea. Added secret perks during a campaign. Wow, this is an amazing one. This is brought to my attention by Professor Murph. I'll go into it, right, in a sec, but he said something along these lines. People are always trying to find new backers. The place you should be looking is your own campaign, where you have backers already. And it just sounds so simple that it makes me feel stupid, right? You've got all these amazing backers that have backed your book. Offer them something else. Offer them, a pack of prints, trading cards, a making of book, an issue 0, your other writing stories, a new cover. He added an absolute ton of backers on following this method. So I mean, this is legitimate gold. One thing that I think is really important about this, right? And let me highlight it, and it's bolded. So consider free shipping if it doesn't change the weight of the perk. Okay, so if you have posters, that's going to be a different thing, right? People are going to have to pay shipping for that. But if you have, a comic that's been added to whatever you've bought, then hopefully you can do the legwork, make sure it all lines up, and you can put it in the same pack, and it's not going to cost more money. Because that's what people are really hating at the moment. They're hating being charged multiple times for shipping. And I get it. Shipping is not cheap. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that is something. So yeah, like I said, you could add on all different things, or something else that I haven't mentioned here. But yeah, that's a really good one. And here, preview link. This is another one that a lot of people don't do. I think I've done it. I think Ethan's done it. I think Shane's done it. I don't know if anyone else has done it. I'm sure they have, but they're the only ones I can think of. Send a preview link to your email list, so people who sign up about the campaign. It's really cool for a whole number of reasons. One, it makes the people that have signed up feel like they're part of an exclusive crowd that get to see the campaign before anyone else, and they do. It lets the people that have signed up see what the campaign has to offer and know what they're going to be spending their money on day one. And it allows you to get feedback from the people that are going to be spending money on your campaign, right? George, for an example, he gave me feedback. He said, I really wanted to get the Dan Frager cover day one, but it's not there. And my plan was to release it later on during the campaign. But George was like, oh, well, I want that one. And, I always believe if there's one person that says something, that there's going to be other people that feel the same way. And then I'm just like, well, why don't I just put it on the campaign? And I did, and we sold lots of copies of it. So get that preview link, send it to people, you trust, right, to give you good feedback, and then send it to the backers, on your email list. Get the feedback from them, so they know what they're going to want to get, and what you're missing or what they're not happy with. And finally, God, this has gone on for nearly 30 minutes. I wasn't expecting it to take this long. Usually I run out of things to say within 4. So, live email link. This is a really big pain in the ass, and I don't know what the solution is. Whenever you go live, you have to let your backers know that you've gone live, so that they know you're live and then can back you, right? Makes perfect sense. The problem is, there doesn't seem to be any concrete way to get that email into people's inboxes, right? I've used MailChimp, I've used MailerLite, I've used my own personal email, and you'll still get people that haven't received the email. I don't know what the solution is, but it does get frustrating. So my point here is, just doing the MailerLite or the MailChimp send out, it's not going to be enough. People aren't going to get it. So you're going to have to look at different methods. You're going to have to make sure that everywhere you've posted that you're live, because people will miss that. Anyway, that is it. I hope that's really helpful. This one's really rough. But it's just the latest thoughts I've had about it, and people have put their input in, which is much appreciated. Yeah, like I said, it's just my thoughts. But if people have thoughts on the matter, please tell me, because just trying to get better. That's all I want to do. So yeah, the link will be in the description for this. So I hope you find it useful. If you haven't backed something, back a comic today. The link for Replicator will be down below as well. And I hope everyone has a great day. We are going to wrap it up there. Thank you.